And once we have hope and we've created that space for possibility, and they go, we think better is possible. Great. How do we get there? Now let's get practical.
Yeah.
Now let's add in next steps that will absolutely move us in that direction. Hey everyone, welcome to the Leader Lab. This is Leadership Shorts, quick thoughts to help you level up your leadership. My name is Chad Wright. I'm the founder of Forward Partners, and I am joined, as always, by my partner in podcasting, Emily Grace Deal. Emily, what are we talking about today?
We often talk about the role hope plays in leadership. But a lot of leaders struggle with the idea because they can feel like it's, unicorns and rainbows.
So non-existent and useless.
So how can we use hope to have a practical impact on a team?
Yeah, I think it's funny in leadership, we often struggle with these things that don't feel practical. And hope, I think, can often feel impractical, like we're just dreaming and we're just, up in the clouds.
That's cute.
That's cute. Isn't that adorable, right? But the reality is hope, and part of this came out of a session I had, a group session. I was talking about maintaining hope for people in the organization that don't have any hope. They're stuck, they're hopeless. We as leaders have an obligation to maintain hope for them, that better is possible, right?
Yeah.
And I had one person push back and said, hope is not a strategy. I don't know if they're entirely wrong. But hope is definitely the foundation of a really good strategy. Because ultimately what hope does is it opens up possibility.
Yeah.
When we talk all the time, in the last episode, we talked about creating the future. As a leader, our job is to create the future. If that future is not built on hope, the opposite of that is it's built on cynicism. It's built on fear.
Right.
And if we are creating a future built on fear and cynicism, that's not a future I want to live in. That does not sound like a lot of fun. And if you look at so much of our society and what we wrestle with, it's because we're doing things out of fear and out of cynicism, not out of hope.
I really love hope being the fix to that cynicism.
Yeah.
The negative where they can get stuck in.
Yeah.
And having the hope for better and the curiosity of thought and having that is really the combatant for that.
Well, because hope, it tends to choke out possibility. I'm sorry. Cynicism.
I know what you were saying, so I just agreed.
Yes, I like that. Cynicism chokes out possibility. It chokes out this future that could be.
Yeah.
Hope creates space for possibility. And so while hope alone is not enough, we cannot sit around all day and just, I hope things get better. They could be better. Wouldn't that be amazing? That's not practical.
Right, that's not a strategy.
It's not. But hope is a foundation that says, hey, we can go create a better future. For our organization, if you think about organizations that are kind of disgruntled, better is possible. We can create a better future.
Well, if you're starting with hope and you're starting with that, the dream, we can do this, then that's way better than starting with maybe we could. It would be cool, but
Well, and certainly better than starting with this will never change. Nothing better will ever happen.
Right. Good luck having,
Exactly. And so when I deal with people in organizations that are stuck, whether it's an organization that's stuck or a person within an organization that's stuck, there's almost always a loss of hope. And so ultimately, if we can instill hope, and where I start to see changes, I do have that hope, right? So when I'm blessed to go in and work with an organization, a lot of my job is to bring hope that better is possible, that change could happen. And when they start to feel just a little bit of that hope, they start to believe it's possible. And once they believe it's possible, now let's apply some next steps.
Well, it's new information, right? Whenever you're stuck on something, sometimes you just need new information. And so we're able to bring that kind of third-party view of new information and hope.
Yeah, and once we have hope and we've created that space for possibility, and they go, we think better is possible. Great, how do we get there? Now let's get practical.
Yeah.
Now let's add in next steps that will absolutely move us in that direction. And so we have to be able to do that. And so as leaders, we have that magical ability to bring hope. But ultimately, all this is also tied to our own leadership health, right? I think hope, when you think about the burnout curve that we talk about, getting trapped in burnout, when you're in the middle of burnout, there's very little hope. if any, right? It's a lot of cynicism. And so as leaders, if we're going to bring hope to our people, if we're going to make it the foundation of the future we create, we have to be healthy.
Right.
We have to be healthy leaders. Make sure we're winning that battle with burnout on a regular basis.
Well, if you have enough hard days in a row too, right, you start to feel like every day will be that hard day, and that's that loss of hope, right?
It is.
Thinking that it's not going to be a good day.
Yeah.
And so if we're able to just see things like that with more hope, we can see bigger and better ideas for our organization,
Absolutely.
for our people, and that
Yep.
kind of.
And that becomes the very practical benefit of hope is that if we can see better, we can create better. If we can't see better, we're never going to create it. You know, when we go back to the last episode, there was 3 questions to jumpstart your leadership. The very first question, what am I committed to creating today?
Yeah.
If we ask that question, but we don't have any hope, the commitment we make
I'm
is
not creating
gonna be
anything.
good.
Yeah, you have it to
I'm
real
gonna
quick.
create a dumpster fire, right?
Oh.
And so the answer is not going to be helpful. And so ultimately, hope is what gives us that foundation to then build anything we want in a healthy way. But we got to be healthy to get there in the first place.
Definitely.
And so is hope a strategy? No, not alone. But combined with everything else, combined with all these other pieces, it is a foundation that we can build on, and it becomes incredibly practical for creating. Leaders, I would encourage you, hope, again, like she said, it can feel like unicorns and rainbows. It can feel useless, like we're just dreaming. But if we view it as the start, as the foundation, now hope is something we can build incredible things on. But we have to have that as a base, and that is all rooted in our own leadership health. Hope is kind of like hustle. It is a limited resource. It has to be refilled. We have to make sure we are investing in ourselves to see things through that lens of hope in order to build that foundation. And once you have that foundation built on hope, now we start adding practical steps. Great, we have hope. We see a brighter future that we can create. How do we get there? Now we're getting to practical, on the ground next steps. But the beauty of that is it all starts with hope. And so we've got to maintain that. All right, if someone is struggling to find hope, if someone is struggling to believe that better is possible for them or for their organization, where do they email us to get more information and for us to be able to help?
Yeah, lab@forwardpartners.net.
lab@forwardpartners.net. If they want to find encouragement and leadership growth and information that we put out on socials all the time, where do they find that?
@ForwardPartner.
@ForwardPartner. Thank you, Emily, for this conversation. John, thank you for producing. Wilco Workspaces, thank you for the partnership. And thank you, dear reader, dear listener, dear watcher, for joining us. And I would be honored if you would share this with leaders that also need a little bit of hope in their lives and in their leadership. We will see you next time right here in the Leader Lab for Leadership Shorts.